Rediscovering Advent, preparing our hearts for Christmas. This is week number 3, and today I'd like to talk about joy. And our passage is from Matthew chapter 2, verses 10 and 11. When they saw the star, they were overjoyed. On coming to the house, they saw the child with his mother Mary, and they bowed down and worshipped him. Then they opened their treasures and presented him with gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. You know, there's something special about finding what you were looking for. Actually, finding what you're looking for brings such joy, almost unexplainable. Luke chapter 15 has a list of parables, the parables of Jesus, about things that were lost and then were found again. The first one is the lost sheep. You see that when the shepherd finally finds the lost sheep, he invites his friends to come and says, "Rejoice with me, I have found my lost sheep." And then you have the lost coin. And when the woman finally finds the lost coin, she calls her friends and neighbors together and says, "Rejoice with me, I have found my lost coin." Of course, my favorite is the prodigal son, where the father, after having found his son, when his son comes back home, he says, "Quick, bring the best robe and put it on him. Put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet. Bring the fatted calf and kill it. Let's have a feast and celebrate. For this son of mine was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found." So they began to celebrate. What a great passage. But isn't it interesting how finding something that you lost brings such joy? Jesus was using these parables, of course, as an illustration of what it means to turn to God and to find forgiveness and peace with Him. If you can experience joy by finding a lost coin, Jesus is saying, how much more will you be filled with joy when you realize what has been missing in your life? The emptiness, the thirst, the hunger, the search for more. When you find that, you will be filled with joy. So, the wise men from the east were also looking for something. They didn't have access to the Hebrew prophets. I doubt if they even knew how to read Hebrew. We would probably say that looking for the Messiah using astrology and stargazing is probably not the best way to find the Messiah. But the principle is still the same, and it's a principle that applies to us today. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be opened to you. And that's still true today. At any rate, most people search for God in the wrong way anyways, just like the wise men from the east. Isaiah 55 reminds us that we seek for the Lord because He allows Himself to be found. You know, I was following this story of a teenage girl who was deaf from birth. She got a cochlear implant, and that's an operation, by the way, and now she's in the audio technician's office with her family to get connected for the first time. At first, the process was very mechanical, explaining how it worked, testing the strength of the signal, how it felt, knocking on the table to see if she could hear the noise, and so on. It seemed like it was, at the beginning anyways, an annoyance for her. It was a confusion in her brain, a vibration, she called it, right? Having never experienced ambient noise before, this was all something new, and she didn't quite know what to do with it. At some point, the technician asked her dad to begin to speak to her. As Dad began to say, "Hello, Amy, can you hear me? This is how your dad's voice sounds." Immediately, the expression on Amy's face completely changes as she realizes that she was hearing her dad's voice for the first time. As he continues to speak, of course, Amy, she begins to cry, and I'm assuming they're tears of joy. So this is what it feels like to use your ears, to make use of a sense that she had not been or that she had been deprived of for the first time in her life. Now she uses this. Maybe you've never heard the voice of God in your life. Open your heart. Turn to Him. There is great joy in finding His presence in your life. Isaiah 55 verse 6 says, "Seek the Lord while He may be found. Call on Him while He is near." The old Christmas hymn goes like this: "Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare Him room, and heaven and nature sing. Joy to the world, the Savior reigns. Let men their songs employ, while fields and floods, rocks, hills, and plains repeat the sounding joy. He rules the world with truth and grace, and makes the nations prove the light of His righteousness and the wonders of His love." Today, I wish that you find the Savior in your life, and that just like the wise men of old, by finding the Messiah, finding Jesus, that you would be filled with worship and with joy. The Lord bless you today.